Pretty much everything you've been taught when it comes to fat loss is complete and total nonsense. I know that sounds like a pretty bold statement, but I've had a chance over the past 15 years to coach over 7,500 guys with their body transformation goals. And through that process, I've learned a thing or two. Not to mention, about 20 years ago, I was 65 pounds overweight. And I made basically every mistake you can possibly make because I was taught all the wrong things. Now, I wasted a lot of my own time, but fortunately, I won't waste yours. On today's video, we're going to break down three simple things that you need to have as part of your fat loss system if you want to make a permanent transformation. This is the gold. Literally, I'm not going to hold anything back when it comes to teaching you this stuff because my hope, you take action, you start getting results. And if you need coaching and community, you come to me. So buckle up. Let's jump into the first and arguably most important piece when it comes to this whole planning. Now, what I can tell you with fat loss is most of you are struggling because you're not knocking out one really important piece. Now, this is one piece of what we call the 3M system. It's my own personal coaching system that we've put over 7,500 guys through now. And by the way, if you want a whole cheat sheet on this, if you want to know exactly how to lay out the system, just comment the word lean, Lean, below this video. I'll connect with you. I'll add you to our coaching community for free, where you'll get a copy of the 3M fat loss checklist. It'll teach you everything you need to know on top of today's video. Now, the first thing is movement. Movement is vital when it comes to fat loss, not just fat loss, but when it comes to living a healthier, more productive, more stress-free life. See, there's a huge issue in the world right now. And in fact, I'm doing it right now in front of you. I feel like a hypocrite actually making this video because I'm sitting down, I'm sedentary, and I'm talking into a camera. Now, most of us sit at a desk for a large portion of our day and we hack away at a computer because a lot of work gets done on computers now. And of course, we sit in our car, we drive places, we take our kids to practices, we sit on the sideline, and we're just not moving a lot. And then what ends up happening is our energy levels come down, right? We don't use enough energy, and so our energy levels naturally come down. We start to feel tired in the middle of the afternoon. And all of a sudden, we're like, I don't have any motivation to work out. I'm very, very, very tired, and I'm just sick and tired of sitting around. And so I'm going to sit and do nothing. It's a crazy, vicious cycle. But we have to build movement into our lifestyle. We actually need to create what I call a movement-based lifestyle. Now, when it comes to fat loss, the reason why this is so important, we just don't burn enough calories every day. So we have to jump into these crazy low-calorie diets. We have to slash carbs. We eat no sugar. We don't eat out. We have to be super strict because in reality, we have to create a calorie deficit. We have to burn more calories than we take in every single day if we want to lose fat. That's just the science behind it. There's no way around that piece. So if we're not moving enough, well, our total calorie burns every day, or calorie burns, I don't know if that's a right phrase, but the total calorie burn that we have is nowhere near the potential that we have in terms of calorie burn. How do we increase our total output? Well, we got to walk more. We got to move more. We have to build more little bits of movement into our day. One of the easiest ways to do this is we take a look at meetings, or we take a look at things that we could be doing while walking. Maybe it's just busy work, typing away on some reports, or heck, maybe it's at your children's baseball or soccer practice where normally you'd be sitting on the sideline just watching. You can watch, but you can also walk. Maybe it's taking meetings with people and actually going for a walk while you talk, a good old walk and talk. Ultimately, we have to build more movement into our day. This is going to make fat loss so much easier. If you find that you're sitting around not moving a lot for the majority of your day, this could be one of the biggest reasons why you're not seeing progress when it comes to your belly fat, when it comes to losing weight, and when it comes to improving your health, because that's a whole nother side of this equation that most people don't talk about. They only talk about the exterior. We don't talk about what's underneath the hood. But studies show and science proves that people who live a more movement-based lifestyle tend to live a lot longer period of time. All you have to do is look at what they call blue zones that are little pockets of regions around the country, around the world actually, where people live a much longer period of life. They have a life expectancy that in some cases is 10, 15, even 20 years more than the average person. one of the key factors in their ability to live a long time is walking. They just simply move more. Their bodies are more active, their systems are healthier, and they're taking care of their health. So walking is a huge benefit to a lot of things underneath the hood. That's the first and arguably one of the most important pieces. Now, the second part of the pillar, which by the way, if you want my whole entire fat loss roadmap, I talked about the lean cheat sheet. If you want the cheat sheet, comment lean. If you want a 12-page guide that actually breaks down every single part of how I transform guys, which I've been doing now for 15 plus years, comment fat loss below this video, and I'll send you a link to get it for absolutely free. Now, the next piece is where most people put all of their attention. When they're trying to lose weight, this is what everybody does a lot of right out of the gate, and that is the muscle pillar. Now, we call it the muscle pillar, but what we're referencing is workouts. People put a lot of stock in their workout routine when it comes to changing their body. Now, I'm not here to tell you that workouts don't matter. Of course they matter. They play a huge factor in not just how you look, but your longevity. When it comes to strengthening your body, when it comes to losing the fat, but also looking good underneath all the body fat that you might be carrying, you got to have a program in place that allows you to build and maintain muscle as much as you possibly can. Muscle is also very metabolically active, so we need some of it. But do we need heaps and heaps of muscle? Do we need to be a massive bodybuilder? I'd say absolutely not. In fact, most people don't want that. Most people don't even want to be too big, as they say, but you do need some muscle. However, this is where people get it all wrong. They think they're going to go in the gym, work out for 30 to 45 minutes, a few times a week, and burn all these calories. And all of a sudden they can get away with eating whatever they want because they're working out. That's just not how it works. You don't burn that many calories when you're training. I'd say most people burn a few hundred calories at the most. I know some people go and do things like CrossFit and circuit training. I'm talking about just good old-fashioned resistance training, going in and getting stronger over a period of time. You're just not burning that many calories during that workout. Over time, as you build muscle, your body will metabolically expend more calories than you are probably burning now because you're carrying more muscle tissue. And muscle tissue is very metabolically active. It just requires more calories to maintain. Muscle is also great, once again, for health, fighting off things like metabolic disease, fighting off colds and viruses. Muscle can be a powerful ally in keeping you healthy. So my suggestion is, if you've never had a consistent training routine, the number one thing I would highly recommend you do is look at your schedule and find non-negotiable appointments a few times a week where you can actually stick to your training schedule. The last thing you want to do is get overzealous and try to jump into this, 5, 6, 7 day a week workout program when really you only have 3 days a week to train for 30 to 45 minutes, which is completely fine, by the way. Most of our clients that we work with inside of our premium coaching program, man, they only train 3 to 4 days a week for 30 to 45 minutes. We're in and out. We're not wasting time on nonsense and exercises that don't actually give you a lot of bang for your buck. We're focusing on the things that are actually going to give you a return on your efforts. So that's the second piece that you need to get dialed in. The third piece is where everybody struggles the most, and that is meals. Now, if you want a copy of my 12-page roadmap, it is literally the predictable fat loss and peak performance roadmap for time-poor professionals. Then I'll give it to you for free. Just comment fat loss below this video and I'll send it over to you. If you prefer a cheat sheet, just comment lean and I'll send you the cheat sheet. Or you can just have both and I'll take care of you. But nutrition is where a lot of people fumble. And that's simply because we're surrounded by food 24/7. I mean, most of our social experiences, events, work meetings, man, everything revolves around eating and drinking too much. So of course it's the hardest piece for most people. Plus, we're working out a few times a week, but we're eating a few times a day. So there's just a lot more opportunity to slip up and fall off track. So what do you need to have in place when it comes to nutrition? Well, I'm about to break this down in such simple terms that you'll never go back to the complicated diets and the unsustainable nonsense that you've probably been trying to follow for how many years, I have no idea, but it's probably been too long. There's only two things you need to understand. 1, calories. 2, protein. Those are the biggest factors. If you get your calories right, man, you're more than halfway there. In fact, I'd say you're probably 80% of the way there. But the right type of calories also plays a huge role. So we want to get enough protein to support muscle building and muscle retention. And muscle is also very satiating. I mean, it fills you up. It keeps your appetite stable. And it just makes you feel good when you have enough protein in your diet. Now, you don't need tons of protein and you don't need to go crazy low with calories or anything like that. I'd say most people, and this is a very generalized recommendation, but most people should start out eating about 12 times their goal body weight in calories. You could go lower, you could go higher, but that's just a general recommendation. So if you're 250 pounds and you want to be 200 pounds, 2,400 calories is probably a good starting target. I can't guarantee that you're going to lose weight or that you're going to lose fat on that number, but I guarantee it probably gets you pretty darn close to where you need to be. Now, of course, there's protein. So we'll take that same goal weight, which in this case is 200 pounds. That's what you want to weigh. Multiply that by 0.8 to 1. And that range, call it 200 grams, 175 grams of protein per day is probably more than enough to support your training and your recovery. Now, how do we fill in the rest of our food? Well, we need to build meals or restaurant meals and choices that allow us to hit the calories and the protein. This is where a great coach can come into play and build this for you. You can do your own research and put it together yourself. But ultimately, my suggestion, get on a meal rotation plan. This is where you have 4 to 10 at the most meals that you know I can eat these year round. They're enjoyable, they're easy, and they're highly effective, meaning I enjoy it, it's easy to put together, and I get the result I want. Just rotate through those meals time and time again. You don't need to be Mr. Variety who eats something new every single day. You don't need to, sample every little piece of food or put together recipes that, require 20 ingredients and actually don't even taste that good, right? Let's just stick to the simplicity that is the meal rotation system. Those are the 3 things you got to get right. That is the 3M system that will guarantee fat loss. Steal it, use it, implement it, get results. Here's one thing I'll leave you with, and just something to think about as you move forward. It's typically not that stuff that prevents you from getting the results you want. Because if we're really being honest with ourselves, you probably know how to do what I just said. You may not know how to break it down like I just broke it down, or how to piece it together in organized fashion like I just did. But what I can promise you is the people who I've worked with over the years, the leaders in their industries, the people who are working really hard, doing well, but just not doing well with their health, who want the body that looks good, but also performs well. They want good health and they want good aesthetics. What I can tell you is there's 2 missing pieces. Typically, it's coaching, meaning taking accountability and actually getting accountability from someone else versus trying to stay accountable to yourself. And 2 is community. They're just not surrounded by enough good influence to stay on the path. They're actually being told to do all the wrong things, like drink too much, eat too much, smoke too much, sleep too much, whatever. They're not doing the things that were going to lead them to the goals they actually want. They need to get around like-minded people who are doing well in the areas of life that they care about and have that influence on them every single day. That's why I built True Transformation. That is where we take the power of fitness, which I consider to be the lowest hanging fruit to improve your life, and we make it so that you can stick to something forever. We do away with all the nonsense, all the unsustainable fads, all the things that are going to be here today, gone tomorrow. And then combined with our expert coaching, our recovery systems, our actual protocols that allow us to track your sleep, your stress, your blood work, all the things that go into transforming you, then we bring you around all of our other amazing clients who give you that motivation, that energy, that drive, that just overall good feeling of like, holy crap, I'm not in this by myself. I actually have permission now to chase my health and fitness goals, unlike any other time I've had before. So if that sounds like you, what I can tell you is life moves fast. If you're not making it count, now's the time. There is no perfect time except for right now to start making a change. Apply the things I just taught you in this video. Comment the word lean or fat loss if you want the free guides. And then if you're super interested in how we actually work with people like yourself, check out the links below. You can check out our coaching program and schedule a time to chat. That's all I got. Life moves fast. Make it count. Go check out the next video. It's up here. I'll put it at the top of the screen, and I'll see you on that one. Peace.